In the headlines, NLC TUC declare indefinite strike action. Gunmen shot 3, abduct 1 female student of Isoko Polytechnic. Police in Rivers rescues suspected DPO killer from angry mob. Also in the news, Burkina Faso suspends French news outlets for discrediting army. Hello there, good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We start in Abuja with the latest as the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress has directed all its affiliates and members to shut down the Nigerian economy on Tuesday, October 3rd, over the failure of the federal government to meet its demands. Now, the president of both the NLC and the TUC, Joe Ajero and Festus Osifo, disclosed this at the Labour House in Abuja during a press conference shortly after an emergency National Executive Council meeting. Kabir Lawal tells us more.
Speaking to journalists in the press briefing, the NLC president, Comrade Joe Ajero, said the proposed has become imperative following the continuous failure of government to address issues raised by labor, especially following the hardship being faced by Nigerian workers due to the removal of fuel subsidy.
And the subsequent successful 2 days nationwide strike of the 5th and 6th of September and other meetings that were supposed to demonstrate the preparedness of the Nigerian workers to push through their decision to embark on an indefinite nationwide strike if their demands were not met.
His TUC counterpart, Festus Osifo, said as part of the Independence Day celebration, councils resolved to direct all workers to organize rallies and peaceful protest to draw the attention of government on the need to do the needful.
Of the Independence Day celebration and to demonstrate our resolve for a truly independent Nigeria to take our destinies in our own hands and rescue our nation. 2, to embark on an indefinite and total shutdown of the nation beginning on 0 hours, Tuesday, the 3rd day of October 2023. 3, to direct all workers in Nigeria to withdraw their services from their respective workplaces commencing from the 3rd of October 2023.
The councils further urged Nigerians to cooperate with unions as the action is meant to better the welfare of Nigerian workers. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Gunmen have reportedly shot 3 students of the Isoko Agar Polytechnic in Lafia, Nasarawa State, while abducting 1 female student. Those shot have been identified as Freedom Luka Oguche Janet, said to have been a student of HND Public Administration and HND 2 from Business Administration and Management, respectively, while Nladi Nicholas, an admission seeker, was said to have been rushed to the hospital at the emergency unit of the El Hatu Arab Specialist Hospital in Lafia for medical attention after the situation continues to remain, or rather, with his situation being described as critical. Reports say the polytechnic environment has become an issue of concern for students, staff, and residents in the area, as security and safety of the area continues to be a subject of uncertainty. When contacted, the police public relations officer, Nasarawa State Police Command DSP Ranham, confirmed the incident, saying that a distress call was received by the police that an armed robbery was taking place in a house at Ombi 1 in Lafia. Ranham says the command has launched an investigation into the development as the Commissioner of Police has deployed all tactical teams of the command to go after perpetrators of the dastardly act. Now, hundreds of women on Tuesday in Panyam community of Mangu local government area of Plateau State blocked the Jos Shandam highway to protest the arrest of the district head and some residents of the area over the killing of a Fulani leader of the area. Adamu Idris was killed by yet-to-be-identified assailants on Saturday while returning from a visit to the district head. The women who blocked the road on Tuesday say they are protesting the arrest of members of the community by personnel of Operation Safe Haven a security task force maintaining peace in Plateau State. The protesting women are calling for the release of arrested residents. Hundreds of vehicles on the highway had to cancel their journey due to the disruption. Niger State government on Monday commenced the profiling of miners across the state following complaints that miners were being extorted by bandits and terrorists to access mining sites across the state. Governor Mohammed Bago had on different occasions alleged that banditry in Niger State had persisted due to unchecked mining activities in the affected communities. The Commissioner for Mineral Resources, Garba Yahaya, told newsmen that a petition had been submitted to the ministry accusing miners of paying bandits to allow them access to the mining sites. But the state chairman, Miners Association of Nigeria, Mohammed Mambo, who said the decision was a good step in the right direction, disagreed that miners were paying bandits to access mining sites. He says 70% of Niger State residents, including women and children, are into mining activities as a means of survival due to hardship and poverty. The River State Police Command says it has rescued a suspected killer of Ahoda DPO, SP Bako Agbashim, who was about to be lynched by an angry mob at Edoha in Ahoda local government area of the state. Now, the command's public relations officer, Grace Eringie Koko, in a statement in Port Harcourt, the state capital, on Tuesday, says men of the command received a distress call in Edoha community that one of the suspects who brutally killed SP Bako Agbashim was about to be lynched to death by an angry mob. SP Koko said in a team of police officers swung into action to rescue the suspect who was about to be burnt by the angry mob. She said the suspect was rescued and brought to the station where he gave useful statements on the investigation. She pointed out that the suspect was later transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department for discreet investigation with a view to apprehending the fleeing kingpin, his gang members, as well as to recover their operational weapons. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, says the National Assembly must deploy its legislative powers and instruments to ensure security of lives and property is provided for Nigerians. He made the remark in his welcome address to members of the House after their resumption from their national recess on Tuesday. He reminded the members of the House that there is enormous security challenges confronting the nation, which he said will engage the attention of the lawmakers in the coming days and months. Abbas noted that national security remains precarious even in the face of numerous successes recorded by Nigeria's gallant security personnel. Abbas said incidents have happened of recent time, especially in Shiroro local government area of Niger State, where scores of soldiers were ambushed and gruesomely murdered by terrorists. Traffic flow across major roads in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, was disrupted by truck drivers who left the heavy-duty trucks on the road, blocking access to township roads to the dismay of other road users. Now, motorists affected by the blockade, while expressing their dissatisfaction with the development, say law enforcement authorities should take action to forestall future occurrence of the development.
A few months ago, the roadblock area of the main motor park was the area that faced the challenges of the heavy trucks in Jalingo. After a report by shop owners and passerby, the Federal Road Safety Corps intensified effort and cleared the menace and also carried out a sensitization campaign within the area which yielded positive results. However, the Corps also confirmed that other places in the state capital have businesses like petrol station, cooking gas, plants and other inflammable substances that can easily cause fire accidents. He listed them to include Jalingo Main Market, Lamurde Roundabout, and Magway Bus Stop. Some shop owners and residents frowned at the attitude of those drivers and called for government intervention.
Trailers, they are not supposed to come to the town in the morning or in the afternoon. They're supposed to come in the night so that they will park properly, that they cannot able to intimidate those people that are fasting. You understand? Why? Because obviously you used to have one at the cities, like Lagos, during Pashola, you understand? trailers cannot come to the town. They have specific days and they have specific time. So we need government to schedule time that today trailers they are available to come and they are not to come.
The trucks that usually pass here, somehow our plea is that if government can do something about it to help us, we will be so grateful, because here is populated with people. So it is a risk for them to be passing, like all this tanker that carries fuel and gas.
The Taraba State FRSC commander, Abdulmalik Dama Bello, stated that some of their patrol teams have confirmed to the agency that their patrol has extended to those places and that measures have been put in place to restore sanity. He ordered that heavy trucks should be parked in the newly constructed trailer parks in Fantinapu area of Jalingo in the daytime, while offloading should be done during night hours when people have deserted the market.
Yes, we are aware. We are even, let me be open to you that even recently I got a letter from the sister agencies notifying us about the grievances people are showing towards that. You see, when I was told of that trailers, some articulated vehicles, we park anyhow, some people will drive in the manner that they will be driving against traffic. Let's put it that way. They told me, I sent my boys to go out and see what could be the reason why people choose to be parking vehicle by the roadside, particularly articulated vehicle. In the same country where people are disciplined, people go carry their vehicle, particularly all these old age vehicles, all these big vehicles, they have designated area.
He reminded the truck owners that defaulters will be sanctioned in accordance with the law.
Now we have some breaking news for you from the National Assembly, as the Senate has confirmed Dr. Olayemi Michael Cardoso as the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Also confirmed are Mrs. M.M. Nana Usoro, Mr. Mohammed Sani Abdullahi Dettijo, Philip Ekeazo and Dr. Bala M. Bello as Deputy Governors of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, they were confirmed following their screening in the Committee of the Whole in the Nigerian Senate chambers, which just concluded with the confirmation of Dr. Olayemi Michael Cardoso as the new Central Bank Governor, alongside 4 Deputy Governors of the Central Bank of Nigeria. That is the latest from the screening exercise in the Nigerian Senate. Now, Africa heads of drug law enforcement agencies are meeting in Abuja to find ways of mitigating drug trafficking and abuse across the continent by exploring opportunities for synergy and cooperation. Noel Samson was there and now reports.
Globally, over 296 million people used drugs in 2021, an increase of 23% over the previous decade. The number of people who suffer from drug use disorders has skyrocketed to 39.5 million, a 45% increase over 10 years. These, among others, are the reasons for the 31st meeting of the heads of national drug law enforcement agencies in Africa being hosted by Nigeria in order to contribute their quota in the fight against illicit drug trade. Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, who represented the President, Bola Tinubu, charges head of drugs agencies to chart a new course that will deal with this transborder crime, which is a global problem.
This trade will have left cities, countries, and even civilizations erased. So I must commend you for your sacrifices in the bid to keep our world drug-free, sane, and safe. This conference emphasizes your investment across borders to protect us from the devastation of drugs, a threat that only submits to the enforcement of the law.
Honlia's commendable efforts in fostering regional collaboration, capacity building, and international partnerships have significantly contributed to the fight against drug trafficking in Africa, making the continent more resilient in combating this global challenge.
Chairman of National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency restates commitment of the NDLA to the fight against illicit drug in the country.
Nigeria will provide a platform for experts from all over the continent to address the world drug problem. I hope we will take advantage of the opportunities to forge new alliances that will be effective on the field and help tilt the balance in favor of our respective organizations.
It is now up to you as heads of national drug law enforcement agencies to accelerate efforts individually and collectively to fight the illicit drug trade, which remains one of the principal sources of income of transnational organized crime.
A report by United Nations Office on Drug and Crime in Nigeria indicates that 14.4%, that is 14.3 million of people aged between 15 and 64 years abuse drugs, hence the need to address the situation. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Well, you're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, we'll tell you about the age-long tradition of dumame as a go-to breakfast option. More news coming up ahead after the break. Welcome back to the news. Here's a quick recap of our top stories at this hour. Gunmen should, or rather NLC TUC declare indefinite strike action to commence from October 3rd. Gunmen shoot 3 abduct 1 female student of Nasarawa Polytechnic. Now, in a bid to review the current copyright and contract laws in Nigeria and identify gaps for reform, the House of Representatives has called for collaboration with relevant stakeholders, including record labels, artists, legal professionals, and industry associations to develop and implement industry-wide guidelines that will ensure fair treatment, transparent contractual agreements, and adequate compensation for artists. In a motion sponsored by Babajimi Benson, the Nigeria Copyright Commission has been asked to take immediate action to protect the rights to Mohbad's songs and lyrics, address copyright violations, and ensure the proper management of his musical assets while securing his benefits from his musical legacy.
Monitor the ongoing investigation of Mohbad's death, particularly the allegations of harassment and unpaid royalties. Collaborate with stakeholders, including record labels, artists, legal experts, and industry associations to develop and implement industry-wide guidelines that ensure fair treatment, transparent contractual agreements, and proper compensation for artists. Reviewing existing copyright and contract laws in Nigeria. Identifying gaps or areas in need of reform.
Now, most graduates with a degree set their sights on searching for a plush white-collar job which can guarantee a stable paycheck at the end of the month. For Fatima Abdullahi, with her new degree in public administration, she has decided not to go that route. Instead, she's going into the food industry to start a restaurant that specializes in traditional dumame, which is a popular delicacy across northern Nigeria. Salis Lawan tells us more from Yola.
In case you missed the venue, once you step into Ganye Street of Jumeta, the aroma of Fatima's baobab soap will drag you to the dumame spot. The local food seller, Fatima, said she ventured into the business since her graduation from the university after realizing white-collar jobs are not readily available. She was, however, quick to point out some of the challenges associated with food selling business.
I thought of different businesses after my graduation, but I started with rice and beans. And after an appreciable patronage from customers who are mostly from Gombe, Bauchi, Kano, and Jigawa, I discovered that the business was worth the while because I got new customers almost every day.
We asked her to start the business, and before she realized, people accepted it. You have seen the number of customers and the caliber of people who buy dumame from this young girl. This patronage is not just for the sake of supporting her business. It's also because the food is nice.
The local food called dumame, it keeps the stomach stronger, heavier, more than this rice and beans. Because even formerly in colonial days, when we take dumame, we go to school. We are not feeling hungry until we close from the school. But nowadays, these boys of nowadays, they don't want dumame. But if you see now, majority of dumame will finish before anything.
Dumame is usually warmed up leftovers of tuwo from the previous night's dinner. These customers say nobody who has ever had the privilege of tasting the local food will tell you it is not tasty, as it tastes much better than the fresh batch.
Dumame is my favorite, and with this present economy, it has become more relevant because if you take it in the morning, you may not need any food in the afternoon.
I patronize her because dumame is what we grew up to meet, and she is doing it well.
Well, at first, I felt like quitting because of the challenges, especially with some people thinking that anyone in this business is a bad person, but I did not. Right now, I'm thinking of how to expand the business and not looking for a government job.
While encouraging her fellow youth to reduce their overdependence on government jobs, she called on members of the public to stop giving unpalatable meanings to food sellers or their business. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
What an inspiring story. Now, the Federal Operations Unit, Zone C of the Nigeria Customs Service, has intercepted raw materials for the production of explosive devices, cannabis sativa, and other contraband goods with a duty-paid value of 1.6 billion naira between July and September. Now, the acting customs area controller in charge of Zone C, Kaide Kolade, said this while addressing journalists at the government warehouse in Benin City, Edo State capital. According to a statement on Monday by the Public Relations Officer of the zone, Jerry Attal, the acting area controller, also said that within the period under review, 9 suspects were arrested in connection with the seizures. Kolade, who frowned on the spate of smuggling in the zone, said the sum of 54.2 million naira was also recovered from the zone from demand notices, making cumulative sum of 1.6 billion. The area controller said the contrabands were intercepted at different locations on the jurisdiction of the zone. Let's take a look at developments on the international scene. Burkina Faso's military rulers on Monday ordered the distribution of Jeune Afrique title, which publishes online and in print, be suspended, accusing the publication of seeking to discredit the military junta. The government blamed what it called a new and misleading article published on Monday entitled "Tensions Persist in Burkina Faso Army." The statement added that the publication follows an earlier article by the same newspaper on the same website, published on Thursday, in which it alleges that discontent is growing in Burkina Faso's barracks. The statement added. It also says that the deliberate assertions made without the slightest hint of proof have no other purpose than to discredit the national armed forces and, by extension, all fighting forces in an unacceptable manner. Now, the decision came almost a year after Captain Ibrahim Traore came to power in a coup, Burkina Faso's second in 8 months. Well, that's it for the news update at this hour. For more news, check back later at 9 p.m. For now, we encourage you to follow us across our social media platforms to catch up with more content, and visit trusttv.com for more news. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching.